Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. I don't know how many times I've said that over 20 years, but we are back. Final segment of the fastest 90 minutes in outdoor radio programming. And Dave Gabbert, Gene Smith is our co-host. And guys, I can't believe that we just we're almost through, and we started at 6 o'clock, and it just
that's going on 7:30.
It's 7:30 almost. We're getting all you folks in Jackson. It's even later than that. But Gene and Dave have listened in. We've kind of we've touched a lot of bases. The National Bird Dog Championship kicking off Monday out at Ames Plantation. We talked about the great backyard bird count, which is coming up on the 12th through the 15th. And then we talk about the late Joe Sills and his son, talking about his dad. And then just got through with I hope you had a chance to listen to Kelly Powers from Final Flight Outfitters out of Union City, talking about the recent tragedy on Reelfoot Lake with the loss of lives of 2 young duck hunters, including one that has worked for Final Flight since 2013. And the fund being raised to help those families pay for their funerals. So now we're coming to the end of the show, and I said that we have touched some tough segments, right, Dave?
Yeah.
We have touched segments dealing with death. We're not talking about death in this segment, but we're talking about something that's pretty close to that for a good friend of ours. That's Brandon Butler out of Columbia, Missouri. Formerly with State Conservation, good friend on the Southeastern Outdoor Press Association, about an instance that he has been dealing with since when, Brandon? January the 15th, is that right?
The fire took place on the night of the 4th into the morning of the 5th.
All right, and he said the fire. What happened on that night, Brandon?
An arsonist came and burned my hunting lodge down. It was in retaliation for turning in some poachers during deer season. Built a beautiful home down in the Ozark Mountains over 5 years. Really put it together with a lot of help from family and friends, and really created a special place to gather and enjoy the outdoors, fish and hunt. It's a strange part of the world, and I did my best to try to fit in. Did really well with some of the people, made some lifelong friends, but another segment viewed me as a threat to their way of life, I suppose. And when I finally couldn't take it anymore and called the conservation agents to turn in a license plate number of a truck that was poaching at about 8:30 at night right in front of us, just pulled into the holler and lit up my neighbor's field with light bars, and we could see the muzzle flashes 3 hours after dark, and I just couldn't take it. So I got the license plate number and tried to confront the people, and they ran from me, and ended up being 3 women. I guess a girl had been hunting for the weekend, hadn't got one, and these ladies said, well, we'll go get you one right now. And they went out to poach with spotlights and show a new hunter the wrong ways of doing things. And one of those women, her boyfriend's son is the suspect who's in jail. And I say suspect because he hasn't been arrested yet, but we caught him on camera doing it, coming and going. So a felon with a firearm, and got him walking up to the house on one camera and got him walking away from the house with flames coming out the window on another camera.
Man, yeah.
And it was a total loss. It burned to the ground. And, you know, my grandpa was originally from up by Reelfoot. He was born in Nauvoo and grew up in Dyersburg. And
yes, yeah.
I had 4 of his mounts in there, and my other grandfather's full to honor flag. Just so many irreplaceable family heirlooms. Not things that would cost a lot of money, but
right.
just pieces of my family history that are gone forever.
And Dave is a former wildlife officer and on to information officer with the TWRA. As you listen to Brandon's story, I can feel the hurt in Brandon's voice. Can't you, Dave?
Yeah, it is, and it's. I know it's kind of a cliche, but they talk about times change. I can remember my 15 years as an officer and out there, and well, for back, it's kind of strange. You had a different type of poacher then.
Yeah.
I caught guys, and once you catch them, it's like, hey, you caught me, and give me my court date, let me come to court, and talk, with the judge and everything, and but and it's just with this generation now that's out there, it's totally different. They have no respect whatsoever.
No. And I think and as I said, I can still feel the pain in your voice, Brandon, of having to do this, but it is what it is, and I think that you've made a decision not to go back. You had some what I call real friends that show up to help you clean up what was left, which I'm assuming was nothing. But
just a bunch of scrap metal.
A bunch of scrap metal. How much scrap metal did you say you had to load up?
Well, we took 11 loads to the scrapyard up in Salem, Missouri. But I got to tell you, Larry, the outpouring of support from friends and family and even strangers. I mean, 2 guys showed up I'd never met before, and I've been getting things in the mail from people all over the country. I've got a couple flags coming to replace my grandfather's flag.
Really? Yeah.
Fallen Outdoors flew a flag for him in Afghanistan over a battle zone, and they're going to send that to me. And
wow.
It's not the one that came off his casket, but it's still something I can look at and remember him every time I see it. So, the pain, it's there, for sure. I'm pretty sad about the whole situation. A lot of work went into it, a lot of love.
A lot of work, yeah.
A lot of disappointment in some people that we have to share the planet with. But at the same time, I'm trying to stay real positive and look forward to the future. And I kind of feel like a painter looking at a blank canvas now, and it's like, well, what's next? What's the next dream that we gotta try to pursue? So I'm taking some time, not going to rush into anything.
That's right.
One thing I'm considering, and you'll probably like this because it'll be an open invite for you, but always been in love with the Bull Shoals area and the White River down there. And those
there you go.
we've done together.
God's country. There you go. I'm sorry. I know you got a lot of ties everywhere, but a good friend of mine who had a guide service on Horseshoe Lake, Ronnie Tice, he's now up at the Bull Shoals area, Lake Norfolk. He's moved over there and left Horseshoe. Again, we're talking to Brandon Butler of Driftwood Outdoors. And tell our folks on a positive note, Brandon, I think folks, I've thought about the podcast. This guy knows how to do a podcast. I mean, really impressive. Tell our listeners that you've been able to hang together with this, right? I mean, you're trying to keep your podcast together.
No, the podcast is thriving.
Thriving, yes.
I joked the other day it only took 20 years of hard work and one night of a house burning down to finally see a huge surge in attention. But no, I mean, people like yourself and Steve Ranella and Tom Gresham's crew down there at Gun Talk. I've done so many interviews and newspaper articles, and I think this really touched a lot of people.
Well,
I think, for one, I've had people reach out to me that have had the same thing happen to them in all parts of the country, but no arrests were made because it was a rural area and they didn't have cameras hid the way I did. And then there's so many people that have like a rural retreat or a hunting camp that means a lot to them from family heritage, and they fear that this is going to happen to them eventually. Everyone seems to have some kind of horror story of a local lawless type person that they think is either going to break in, burglarize, or burn it down, or poach their property, and so it strikes a chord with a lot of people. And taking a stand against that lawlessness, it was a high price to pay, but at the same time, I'd do it again tomorrow.
Well, you need to go. Haven't had a chance to listen to it, but you these buddies that came up to help you clean up and everything. You can listen on iTunes, Spotify, and driftwoodoutdoors.com. Some of the anguish that Brandon has faced, but at the same time, his podcasts are very interesting. I mean, you don't have to live. This isn't all about Missouri, because Brandon has connections throughout the Southeast, the Midwest, and wherever it might be from his days in conservation or whatever it is, particularly when you were with the state of Missouri. What was that position you were in?
I was the executive director of the state conservation organization called the Conservation Federation, which is the equivalent of the Tennessee Wildlife Federation.
Yes.
They're like sister organizations. So, in fact, Mike Butler is the executive director there in Tennessee, and he's a Butler from Jackson, and I'm a Butler from Dyersburg. So there's got to be
there you go.
There's
got to be some kind of lineage there.
Well, I appreciate you, Brandon, being with us on this Saturday morning, and heartfelt thanks too, buddy. I lift up a lot of prayers what you were going through, but I know you're a strong man. Anything we can do down here, we're just spreading the word for you, buddy. Keep us posted on what's going on. Again, folks, go to his website, driftwoodoutdoors.com. Check on his podcast. It's very professional and very easy to watch and listen to. And Brandon, thanks, guys, and we'll stay in touch. Okay.
Thanks, Larry. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right. Brandon Butler. All right, now, Gene, I know you've been holding off. We got to have some kind of good news in the final couple of minutes here, Gene. So roll off with something.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, go, Gene.
Well, my neighbor a couple of doors down was raising rabbits, and she was proud of those rabbits. And one day I looked out my backyard, and my dog had one of them. It was throwing up in the air and wrestling with it and everything. So I went and got the rabbit, cleaned him up, washed him and everything, blow dried him and everything, and stuck him back in the cage. Next day I heard her screaming. I said, "What in the world now?" She said, "I don't know what happened. I buried that rabbit 2 days ago."
Did you get that, Dave?
Yeah, I got that.
A rabbit story. All right, buddies. Anything y'all want to add, Dave?
No, when we was talking to Kelly, I thought about, I usually stop in Final Flight when I go to Union City because
Dixie Gun Works.
establishment up there. I'm a big black powder shooter, so you got Dixie Gun Works up there.
There you go. Yeah.
And everything, but I'd like to see Kelly's gun room back there because with all the current ammo situation, he had just floors and floors of all kinds of shotgun ammo and pistol ammo and rifle ammo. So it's probably just a big lonely spot back there right now.
It might be, but I would say that I would check out Final Flight up there. Guys, thank y'all. Dave, say hello to Ram when she gets back. Gene, stay in touch with me, Gene.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm going to Jerry Payne's for the dog thing today.
Oh, that's right, today. That's right. The fun at Jerry Payne of the Mid-South Quail Forever. Way to go, Gene. Well,
yes, sir. Take care.
Tell them all hello for me and remind them it doesn't cost an extra cent to be a good sport. And what else, guys?
God bless the USA.